My name is Claudemir, and I am the Chief of Party for the ATTAIN project. ATTAIN is a 4-year activity financed by USAID and implemented by MEDA in Haiti. In partnership with local partners, the project works to increase the availability of business advisory, workforce development, and financial services in very specific rural areas of the country. These areas are called the resilient zones, and that's the south, the north, the northeast, and the central department. The goal of the project is to make sure that the ecosystem of business advisory, workforce development, and financial services is more exclusive. The point that we're trying to make is that there is great potential, business potential in these areas of the country, and they need access to these services just as any small enterprises that work in Port-au-Prince. So this project started back in August 2020, and we are dealing in a very different Haiti than we did back in 2020. We believe that the mission is still critical in the sense that the potential that exists in these resilient zones outside of the main capital need to be met with appropriate services when it comes to business advisory, workforce development, as well as financial services. The point that we're trying to make is that regardless of where you are in the country, you have the potential to have access to these services. And our goal is to increase the appetite of that ecosystem and focus outwards beyond the major cities. The SAO activity came to us as an activity to support the entrepreneurial activity of young single mothers for extremely vulnerable populations in order to increase workforce development services so these clients could begin increase their revenues by starting a small business.
Moi, je suis ingénieur, moi, mon limonade, moi, j'ai 33 ans, moi, j'ai 3 petits monde, je suis commerçant. C'est Marine qui t'a parlé des projets, moi, c'est intéressant et je suis tout rentré dans le projet. Moi, je suis commerçant, moi, je suis toujours pour vendre, mais je viens rentrer dans le projet, je suis venu me une petite aide. Avec l'aide là, moi, je viens acheter, moi, je viens faire liquide. On est au moteur, comment me serrer l'argent, comment me gérer l'argent. Moi, je viens acheter panneau, je fais recharge, moi, acheter un panneau pendant que je fais recharge là. Moi, toujours continuer l'équipe là et moi, toujours prendre des business moi.
What's exciting about SAO, and really when it came to us, we really understood the potential that exists by doing workforce development services coupled with very basic financial services. And this is what the project is all about. And to make sure that these at-risk population who have potential to start small businesses can elevate and transform their lives by starting a business. We're looking at teaching these small enterprises very basic life skills on how to run a business, as also getting them into the formal space of financial services. This is important because when you look at extremely vulnerable populations, these services can help them really make a difference and provide a safety net for them and their families. So in the context of financial inclusion, VSLAs are really the first step into getting populations that have been excluded from financial services into formal financial services. The point about SAO is that these VSLAs have been established, and over the next 18 months, what we'll be doing is creating linkages between these established VSLA groups and formal financial institutions such as local credit unions. So this is what we hope to see as these enterprises evolve in the space of financial services and can mobilize more savings and have access to, larger loans and more complex loans as well. We'll be looking at SAO beneficiaries and their outcomes over the next 18 months. We want to make sure that they're connected to larger formal institutions so they can mobilize much more savings and increase their sales, generate jobs. And we want to make sure that they continue specializing in their skills and perhaps create larger associations so that they can become stronger.